I used to live in a rundown apartment building, the kind with flickering hall lights, peeling paint, and that faint smell of mildew you can never get rid of. Rent was cheap, though, and I was just trying to get by. The creepiest part of the building was the stairwell. It was narrow, dim, and always colder than the rest of the place. The elevator barely worked, so I had to use those stairs every night when I got home late from work. One night I came home around 1 a.m. The halls were dead silent. I pushed open the heavy stairwell door, and as soon as it creaked, I felt something was off. The stairwell was darker than usual, only one weak bulb flickering above. Halfway up the first flight, I stopped. I could hear breathing, slow, heavy, coming from below me. I froze, straining my ears. At first, I thought maybe it was just the pipes or the echo of my own steps. But then, I heard the faint scrape of a shoe on the concrete. Someone was down there. I turned my head slightly, and in the dim light below, I thought I saw something. A shape, tall, too still to be a neighbor just walking, just standing there watching. I forced myself to move. Step by step, my heart pounding, I told myself, don't run, don't run. If you run, he'll chase, but when I reached the landing, I heard it again. The scrape of a shoe. Closer, I broke. I ran up the stairs, 2-3 steps at a time, my footsteps echoing loud in the concrete shaft. But behind me, I swear I heard it. A second set of footsteps, faster now, following. When I reached my floor, I nearly slammed into the stairwell door trying to get out. I fumbled with my keys, hands shaking, shoved into my apartment, and locked every bolt I had. My chest was burning, ears ringing. But inside I felt a little safer, or at least I thought I was. At around 3 a.m., I woke up to a faint sound. A tapping, slow, rhythmic. It was coming from my door. Tap, tap, tap. I sat there in the dark, holding my breath, too terrified to move. The tapping stopped. Silence. I convinced myself maybe I was dreaming. Maybe it was the radiator. But just as I was about to lie back down, I heard it again. Louder this time. Tap, tap, tap. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I forced myself to look through the peephole. Nothing but the empty hallway. I told a neighbor about it later, and she gave me this weird look. Then she said, "You know someone died in that stairwell, right? About a year ago. Homeless man, found at the bottom with his neck broken. They said he'd been sneaking into the building for months, hiding down there. That night when I came home from work, I told myself it was just paranoia, just a story. But as soon as I opened the stairwell door, I swear for half a second I saw him again. Tall, standing still, waiting. And this time I didn't hear footsteps. I heard whispering. My name. I moved out 2 weeks later. But every now and then, if I'm walking home late, and I pass by a stairwell in some other building, I feel it. The same cold air, the same stillness, like he followed me out. And I know one night, if I ever stop and look too long into the dark, I'll see him again, waiting. I'll never forget this night. It's burned into my memory. I used to rent a small place just outside town, kind of isolated but cheap. My best friend, Daniel, lived 2 streets over. So most nights we'd hang out, play video games, and walk each other halfway home just for company. One night around midnight, I was walking Daniel back. It was cold, the streets were empty, and the only sound was our footsteps crunching on the gravel. We were joking around, but halfway down the road, Daniel suddenly stopped. He said, "Do you hear that?" I paused. At first, I didn't. Then, faintly behind us, I heard what sounded like a second pair of footsteps, slow, heavy, matching ours. We both turned. The street was completely empty, just shadows and streetlights. We laughed it off, pretending we weren't spooked, and kept walking. But the sound came again, and closer this time. We turned back, and I swear I saw the shadow of someone duck behind a tree. That's when Daniel said, "Run." We sprinted all the way to his house, slammed the door shut, locked it, and laughed it off again, trying to shake the fear. I stayed a while, then decided to head home. He offered to walk me back, but I told him not to bother. It was late, and I'd be fine. That was the last time I saw him alive. The next morning, I woke up to flashing lights and police swarming Daniel's street. My stomach dropped as soon as I saw the yellow tape. They told me someone had broken into his house that night. No signs of forced entry, which means whoever it was probably slipped in while we were running home before Daniel locked the door. They found him in his bedroom. He never even made it out of bed. The police kept asking if we noticed anything suspicious. I told them about the footsteps, the shadow. They nodded, wrote it down, but said something I'll never forget. "You were lucky you didn't stay the night." I replay that walk over and over in my head. What if we hadn't run? What if I'd made him walk me home instead of leaving him there alone? Maybe both of us would be gone. Maybe neither. But here's the worst part. When they checked his house, they found footprints, muddy, size 12. Leading from the tree, we saw the shadow behind, straight to his back door. Whoever it was had been following us the whole time. And one of us was always meant to die that night. I don't tell this story often, because every time I do, I get that same knot in my stomach that I felt that night. But since you asked, here it is. It was about 4 years ago. I had just moved into a new apartment. Cheap rent, decent neighborhood, nothing fancy. I worked late nights then, so it wasn't unusual for me to get home around 2 or 3 a.m. One night I got home, dropped my bag, and went straight for a shower. While I was in the bathroom, I heard what sounded like the creak of the floorboards in the living room. At first I brushed it off. Old apartments make noises. Pipes, wood, whatever. But then, I heard it again. A slow, deliberate step. I froze. I turned the water off completely, standing there, dripping, listening. And I swear I could hear breathing, not mine, heavier. Deep inside my apartment, my first instinct was to convince myself I was imagining it. I mean, how could someone get in? I always locked the door. Always, but my gut told me something was wrong. I dried off quickly, grabbed the closest thing I could use as a weapon, a metal hanger, and slowly cracked open the bathroom door. The apartment was dark. Silent. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like whoever was out there could hear it. I tiptoed out, hanger in hand, and flipped the light switch. Nothing. The living room looked normal. My door was locked, everything in its place. I actually laughed at myself, nervously, the kind of laugh you do to shake off fear. I told myself I was paranoid and went to bed. But that's not the end. At around 4:30 a.m., I woke up to the sound of my closet door sliding open. I froze under the blanket, eyes wide open, staring at the dark shape of the closet across my room. At first I thought maybe I forgot to shut it all the way, but then I heard it. A slow, dragging breath. From inside, I didn't move. I didn't even blink. I just lay there, my body stiff with fear, trying to convince myself I wasn't hearing what I was hearing. Then from the darkness of the closet, I swear to God, I saw the faint outline of someone standing there. That was it. I bolted. I didn't grab anything, didn't look back. I ran out of the apartment barefoot and didn't stop until I was outside on the street. I stood there shaking, barely able to dial my phone. When the police arrived, they searched the place. Nothing. No one in the closet, no forced entry, no signs anyone had been there. They told me I was probably overtired and hallucinated the whole thing. But here's the part that still keeps me up at night. When I went back inside later, I noticed something I hadn't before. My window, the one by the fire escape, was unlocked. I never left it unlocked. Ever. And in the dust on the sill, there was the faint outline of a handprint. To this day, I don't know if he left when I ran, or if he stayed hidden, waiting for another night.